The stars looked peaceful that night, but peace never lasts long in space. The year was 2497, and the human expedition fleet was deep inside the Orion sector. Captain Aaron Miles, a strong and calm man, sat in the medical bay rubbing his shoulder. The last battle had left everyone sore, not just in body, but in spirit. Aaron had survived 3 close fights in 1 week. His ship, the Horizon Dawn, carried only half its crew now. The rest were either injured or gone. The engines hummed softly, a constant reminder that they were still alive, still running. But deep inside, Aaron felt a strange pull and ache in his shoulder that wouldn't stop. It wasn't from battle. It was tension, exhaustion, and something else. Loneliness. He looked at the small tablet on the table. It displayed a message from the Alliance medical station orbiting Vega Prime. Captain Miles, your physical checkup and therapy session are confirmed. Assigned healer, Dr. Lira'Ven of the Andari species. Aaron sighed. An alien therapist, huh? Great. He didn't mind working with aliens, he had fought beside many. But therapy? That was personal. Humans weren't used to being touched by other species. Especially not for something as strange as a muscle therapy session. The shuttle took him down to the planet below. Vega Prime's surface glowed like liquid glass, tall silver towers, shining streets, and endless blue skies under protective domes. The Andari were known for their advanced healing techniques and strange empathy powers. As he entered the clinic, he noticed how quiet everything was. Soft music filled the air, and faint holographic lights danced around the walls. The scent of lavender and ozone made him relax a little. Then she walked in. Dr. Lyra !Ven. Aaron froze for a second. She was tall, elegant, and her skin shimmered with a deep violet glow. Her long silver hair fell like threads of light, and her eyes, bright and kind, seemed to look right through him. But what surprised him most were her 4 graceful arms. Each moved with perfect control, smooth and gentle, like waves. Her voice was calm, musical, and curious. Captain Miles, welcome. I'm Dr. Lira'Ven. I'll be your therapist today. Aaron nodded slowly, still trying to act normal. You've got quite a setup here. She smiled. You mean my clinic or my arms? He blinked. Both. Lyra chuckled softly, a sound that echoed like wind chimes. You humans always notice the arms first. Don't worry. They're all quite professional. Her humor made him smile for the first time in days. He sat on the therapy table as she moved around him, scanning his muscles with a glowing device. You carry a lot of strain, she said. Not just in your shoulder. In your heart, too. Aaron turned his head slightly. You can tell that? She nodded. My people sense tension through bioenergy. Pain speaks, Captain. Yours is loud. There was silence for a moment. The hum of the machines filled the air. Lyra's 4 hands began to move, 2 working on his shoulders, 2 balancing energy at his spine. Her touch was firm yet soft, warm like sunlight through water. Aaron tensed at first. The feeling was strange, unnatural, even, but after a minute, the pain began to melt away. He felt lighter, almost dizzy. You're doing some kind of energy trick? He asked. Not a trick, she said quietly. Healing. But something inside you fights it. Aaron frowned. Maybe humans aren't meant to be fixed by aliens. Lyra paused, her eyes thoughtful. Or maybe humans don't like being seen. Her words hit him like a soft strike. The war had taken so much from him: friends, family, hope. And now here he was, being healed by a creature who shouldn't even understand what pain meant to a human. Then, suddenly, alarms echoed outside the clinic. A red light flashed through the glass walls. Lyra turned sharply toward the window. An attack, she whispered. The Dravik fleet, how did they find us? Aaron jumped to his feet, his shoulder suddenly forgotten. You're under attack? "We are under attack," she said, her eyes glowing faintly. "And this time, Captain Miles, you might need more than weapons to survive." The lights flickered. The floor shook. Explosions rumbled in the distance. Outside, fire streaked across the sky as the war that never truly ended returned once more. Aaron looked at Lyra, whose calm face was now serious and focused. He didn't know it yet, but this therapist with 4 arms would soon save not just his body, but his life. The ground shook again, stronger this time. Dust fell from the ceiling lights, and a low, thunder-like sound rolled across the horizon. Aaron looked toward the window. Outside, the once peaceful skyline of Vega Prime burned with orange trails. Alien ships darted between the towers, firing beams of white plasma. The city's defense shields flickered like broken glass. Lyra moved quickly, her 4 arms in perfect coordination as she grabbed a silver device from the wall. "You must go to the shelter," she said, her voice calm but urgent. "The Andari Council will protect you." Aaron shook his head. "Not without helping. I'm a soldier, remember?" "You are a patient right now," she replied, scanning him with her wrist device. "You're still injured. Your body is not ready." He gave a short laugh. "Lady, if I waited for my body to be ready, I'd still be asleep on a battlefield somewhere." Lyra paused for a moment. Her glowing eyes softened, as if she saw something inside him that words couldn't describe. "Humans," she said quietly, "always running toward danger. Always burning themselves to save others." Aaron picked up his jacket and checked the small pulse pistol at his side. "It's called survival. You coming?" A faint smile touched her lips. "You may need me more than you think." Together, they left the clinic and stepped into the hallway. Red alarms blinked along the walls, and automated drones whirred overhead. The air smelled of ozone and fear. Outside, chaos ruled. Civilians ran toward the underground bunkers, while soldiers tried to organize defense lines. The Dravik ship's dark, insect-like machines hovered low, firing energy bursts that shattered glass and steel. Aaron ducked behind a transport vehicle and fired a few shots upward. His pistol cracked, sending bright flashes into the air. But for every enemy ship destroyed, 2 more appeared. Lyra stood beside him, calm amid the storm. Her silver hair whipped around her face, her 4 arms moving as if conducting invisible music. Then she did something Aaron didn't expect. She raised her hands and closed her eyes. A pulse of blue light spread from her palms, forming a shimmering barrier above them. The next explosion hit the barrier and vanished into sparks. Aaron stared. What the hell was that? "My kind heals energy," she said. "Not only bodies." He blinked. "You can block plasma fire?" "Not for long," she said softly. "It drains life energy, mine." She swayed slightly, but Aaron caught her before she fell. Her skin felt warm, almost electric. "Then stop doing it," he said. "You'll burn yourself out." "I can't," she whispered. "There are people in those towers." Aaron looked around. Screams echoed through the streets. The Andari guards were pulling survivors from debris while drones fought above. The Dravik weren't just attacking, they were hunting. He gritted his teeth. "All right. We find a control station. We can activate the city's defense grid." Lyra nodded weakly. "North sector." Under the medical spire. They moved fast through narrow corridors, dodging collapsing beams and flickering lights. Aaron led the way, firing at drones that swooped too close. Lyra followed, keeping a glowing shield behind them. Every corner told the same story: fire, chaos, fear. Yet somehow, amid all that, Aaron felt something new: trust. The alien beside him wasn't just a healer anymore. She was a fighter in her own quiet way. When they reached the control spire, the doors were sealed. Aaron tried the panel. It was locked. "Can you open it?" he asked. Lyra placed her hand on the scanner. Maybe, but Andari systems read life frequency, not codes. Meaning? Meaning I must connect directly. Before he could ask more, she pressed all 4 hands against the metal. Her eyes glowed brighter, and thin lines of light crawled up her arms. The door vibrated, then hissed open with a burst of cool air. Inside, the command room was empty, just screens, flickering holograms, and the steady hum of power. Aaron hurried to the console. "This should activate the defense cannons," he said, typing fast. "Wait," Lyra said suddenly, her voice tense. "Something's wrong." The floor trembled again, but this time it wasn't from explosions. A deep, growling sound came from the lower levels, metallic and alive. Aaron drew his pistol. "What now?" The lights flickered, and a shadow appeared in the doorway, tall, thin, and shaped like a Dravic warrior. Its body was covered in dark plates, its eyes burning red. Lyra stepped in front of Aaron instinctively, her arms raised. "Stay behind me," the creature hissed. "Human captain. Healer of Andari. You both die here." Aaron aimed his weapon. "Not today." The Dravic lunged forward, claws sparking against metal. Lyra moved faster, 4 arms swirling like wind, energy streaming from her palms. The air glowed with blue fire as she struck back. Aaron fired again and again, but the creature was strong, deflecting shots with armored limbs. Then, suddenly, it slashed across the console, sparks flying everywhere. The defense grid shut down. Lyra gasped and stumbled. The creature grabbed her by the arm, lifting her off the ground. Aaron shouted, "Let her go," and fired a point-blank shot into its chest. The alien roared, dropped Lyra, and crashed backward through the control window. It fell into the smoke below. Aaron rushed to her side. "You okay?" She nodded weakly, eyes half open. He was not alone. Aaron looked toward the city outside. Dozens more shadows moved through the smoke. Dravic soldiers, marching toward the heart of Vega Prime. Lyra whispered, "They're not after the city. They're after something inside it." Aaron frowned. What could they want here? She looked at him with glowing, fearful eyes. "Me." Smoke filled the air. The sky above Vega Prime glowed red as burning ships fell like shooting stars. The ground shook every few seconds, each explosion closer than the last. Aaron helped Lyra stand, his arm wrapped around her shoulders. "You're hurt." She shook her head weakly. "Not badly. But the Dravic, they know I'm here." He frowned. "You said they're after you. Why?" "You're a healer, not a soldier." Lyra took a slow breath. Her skin shimmered faintly in the emergency lights. "Because my people created something powerful. Something the Dravic believe they can use to win every war." Aaron's eyes narrowed. "What kind of something?" Lyra looked down at her hands. All 4 trembled slightly. "A cure. A weapon. Maybe both. It depends on who holds it." They moved through the corridor toward a service tunnel, stepping over broken cables and fallen debris. The air smelled like burnt metal and ozone. As they walked, she continued softly, "Years ago, the Andari studied human biology. Your species heals faster than most. You adapt to harsh worlds. You grow stronger under pressure. We wanted to learn why." Aaron gave a short laugh. "We don't feel strong most of the time." "But you are," she said. "Your bodies fight pain in ways mine cannot. Your hearts keep going when logic says stop. We tried to replicate that ability to heal from anything." Aaron stopped walking. "You mean, you used human DNA?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, my research was part of that project. We created a serum half Andari, half human. It can repair life itself. But the Dravic discovered it before we could finish." Aaron exhaled, his mind racing. "So they're not attacking Vega Prime because of the war. They're here to take your work." "Yes," she whispered. and they'll destroy everyone in their way. A distant rumble shook the ground again. The lights flickered above them. Aaron looked toward the tunnel exit. Then we need to stop them before they reach your lab. Lyra looked at him, surprised. You want to help me? Of course, he said. I don't like bullies. And if this serum can heal people, we can't let it become a weapon. For the first time, she smiled, a real warm smile that lit her face even in the chaos. You humans, always saving others. Aaron shrugged. It's a bad habit. They reached an underground passage that led toward the research facility. The hall was quiet except for the sound of dripping water and distant explosions. Lyra activated a small orb of light that floated beside them. As they walked, she suddenly slowed down. Aaron, she said quietly, if something happens to me, promise me you'll destroy the serum. He looked at her confused. You mean the cure you made? Why would I destroy it? Because power always tempts those who find it, she said softly. Even the good ones. Before he could answer, a sharp noise echoed through the tunnel, metal scraping against stone. Aaron raised his pistol. We're not alone. 3 Dravik soldiers stepped out from the shadows, their armor glowing with red veins of energy. Their claws clicked against the floor. Lyra whispered, They're trackers. They smell bioenergy. Aaron moved fast. He fired at the first soldier, the blast hitting its shoulder. It screeched and charged forward. The tunnel filled with flashing light and smoke. Lyra stepped back, eyes glowing. Her 4 arms spread wide as blue fire formed around her palms. Energy pulsed through the air, twisting like ribbons. With a single motion, she sent a wave of force down the tunnel. The shockwave hit the Dravik and threw them against the wall. Aaron ducked behind a support beam. Remind me not to make you angry. She didn't smile this time. Her expression was focused, almost fierce. Healing and hurting are not far apart, she said. Energy can do both. The last Dravik roared and lunged at her. Aaron jumped forward, tackling it before it reached her. They hit the ground hard. The alien hissed and tried to claw his arm, but Aaron grabbed a metal pipe from the floor and smashed its helmet. The creature fell silent. Aaron stood, breathing heavily. You all right? Lyra nodded. You fight like a storm. He looked around. And you heal like one. They continued down the tunnel. The sounds of battle faded behind them, replaced by the quiet hum of the research chamber ahead. A massive door stood at the end, carved with Andari symbols that glowed faintly blue. This is it, she said. My lab. Aaron looked at the door. How many of those things do you think followed us? Too many, she said. We don't have long. As the door opened, cold white light filled the chamber. Rows of equipment lined the walls. In the center stood a crystal-like container filled with shimmering liquid, the serum. It pulsed with soft light, almost alive. Aaron stepped closer. That's it? That's what everyone's dying for? Lyra nodded. Life condensed into light. He watched it carefully. You said it could heal anything. Even death? She looked at him, her voice low. It can rewrite what is broken, but not without cost. Every cure demands energy. A balance must be paid. Before Aaron could reply, the walls shook again. The control panels sparked. A deep mechanical voice echoed through the intercom. This is Commander Drav of the Dravik Dominion. Surrender the Andari healer and her creation. Resistance will lead to extermination. Aaron and Lyra exchanged a look. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed outside the lab. Aaron raised his weapon. Looks like they found us. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, her hands trembling slightly. Then this is where we make our stand. Asterisk, the sound of footsteps grew louder outside the lab door, heavy, slow, and certain. Metal scraped on stone. The air vibrated with a low hum, the kind that comes before danger. Aaron checked the charge on his pistol. Only 3 shots left. We're running out of time. Lyra stood by the glowing chamber that held the serum. The blue light from the liquid painted her skin in soft color. If they take this, she said quietly, the balance of life will break. The Dravik will twist it into a weapon. Then we won't let them, Aaron said. But if this place falls, we destroy it. Her eyes flickered with emotion, fear, and something deeper. You would destroy a cure for your own kind. He met her gaze. If saving everyone means losing what makes us human, yes. The door exploded inward before she could answer. Smoke and sparks filled the air. Dravik soldiers stormed in, tall, armored figures with red-lit eyes. Their commander followed, his armor darker than the others, his voice sharp as metal. Human, he hissed. You stand between the Dominion and perfection. Move aside. Aaron raised his weapon. Sorry, already have a doctor. The commander's claws clicked. You joke in the face of death. Always have, Aaron said and fired. The beam hit the first soldier, sending it crashing into the wall. The room erupted in chaos. Energy blasts flashed blue and red. Lyra's hands glowed as she raised a barrier, the air rippling with power. The Dravik fired again, the blast slamming into her shield. Cracks of light spread across it like lightning. Lyra cried out, her knees bending under the pressure. Aaron dove behind a console. Lyra, drop the shield before it kills you. I can't, she shouted. It's linked to my energy. If I stop now, it will rebound. Her voice trembled. Sweat rolled down her temple. Each of her 4 arms shook as she tried to hold the barrier. The commander raised his weapon, firing a massive beam that struck the shield dead center. The barrier shattered. Blue shards of light scattered through the air. Aaron rushed forward, firing 2 shots. The commander's armor sparked but held. A Dravik soldier swung a blade-like limb at him. Aaron ducked, grabbed a fallen piece of metal, and jammed it into the alien's chest. Lyra stumbled to the ground. The serum container pulsed faster, reacting to her distress. The entire chamber glowed brighter, the machines humming as if alive. The commander noticed. His red eyes widened. So this is the source. The healer's creation. He stepped toward the container. With this, the Dravik will rule every star. Lyra's voice broke. Don't touch it. She raised her hands, but she was too weak to summon another barrier. The commander reached out, and then Aaron tackled him from behind. Both crashed into the floor. The commander was strong, far stronger than a human. He threw Aaron across the room, sending him sliding into a control panel. Sparks flew. Aaron gasped for air. His chest burned, his muscles screaming. But he saw something, the power core beside the serum. A single overload could destroy it all. He looked at Lyra. If I blow the core, this lab goes with it. Her eyes widened. You'll die. He smiled faintly. You're the healer. Save who you can. But before he could move, Lyra's voice cut through the chaos, calm and filled with strange light. Aaron, stop. She stood now, unsteady but glowing brighter than before. Her eyes were pure white, her 4 arms raised high. Energy flowed from her body into the chamber. The serum responded, the light within it swirling into her veins. The machines around her screamed, sparks bursting from the consoles. The commander froze. What are you doing? Lyra's voice echoed, deep and layered. Finishing what we began. Blue fire exploded outward. The energy hit the Dravik soldiers like a wave. Their armor cracked, their weapons shorted out. The commander tried to resist, but the light burned through his systems. He screamed as his body disintegrated into dust. Aaron shielded his eyes. Lyra! When the light faded, she stood in the center of the room, surrounded by drifting embers of blue energy. Her skin glowed faintly, her expression peaceful. The serum chamber was empty, the liquid gone. Aaron ran to her. You absorbed it? She nodded slowly. It was the only way. The serum can't be controlled by machines or greed. It needed a living balance. He looked at her with disbelief. You became the cure. Her voice was soft. Part of it, yes. But now I'm linked to every living thing around me. The power. It's too much. Aaron frowned. You'll burn yourself out. She smiled gently. Maybe, but I can still heal the city. I can stop the fires, mend the wounded. That is what this gift was meant for. He took her hand. Then we do it together. She looked at his hand, rough, human, scarred. Her glowing fingers wrapped around his. Together, she whispered. Outside, the battle was still raging. Explosions echoed above as they stepped out into the ruined streets. The night sky was filled with smoke and fire. Lyra lifted her hands. Blue light spread across the city like dawn breaking through darkness. Buildings repaired themselves. The screams quieted. Wounded soldiers blinked in shock as their injuries began to heal. Aaron stood beside her, watching the impossible happen. For a moment, the war paused, but deep inside, he knew peace never lasted long. As the light faded, Lyra fell to her knees, exhausted. Aaron caught her before she hit the ground. Lyra, stay with me. Her eyes fluttered open, weak but calm. The city is safe. But the Dravik, they will come again. They never stop. Aaron clenched his jaw. Then they'll have to go through me next time. She smiled faintly. You humans, always protecting others. And you aliens, he said softly, always surprising us. The wind carried the scent of rain and smoke. The fires slowly dimmed. Vega Prime was alive again, but a shadow still lingered in the distance. Because somewhere, far above the clouds, another Dravik fleet waited, watching, learning, and the real war had only just begun. The morning after the attack came slowly. The smoke over Vega Prime began to fade, revealing silver skies again. The city that had burned through the night was quiet now, wounded, but alive. Aaron sat outside the remains of the medical spire, his uniform torn and dusty. Around him, Andari medics helped survivors. Drones hummed above, repairing the damage piece by piece. He looked up as Lyra walked toward him. She looked pale, her usual violet glow dimmer now. Her forearms moved slowly, each motion filled with exhaustion. But her smile was gentle, soft like dawn. You shouldn't be standing, Aaron said. You nearly burned yourself out. Lyra tilted her head slightly. I could say the same to you. Humans heal fast. But not that fast. He smiled faintly. Yeah, well, we pretend pretty well. She sat beside him, looking at the sky. The city will live. The serum inside me. It's still active. It's helping the planet heal itself. Aaron turned to her. So you're the reason the fires stopped. Her eyes met his. It wasn't me alone. The serum connects me to life energy around me. When I gave it to the city, it gave something back, balance. He nodded slowly, thinking. Balance, huh? Humans could use some of that. They sat in silence for a moment, listening to the soft wind blowing through the broken towers. Then a communication drone descended beside them, projecting a holographic message in front of Aaron. Captain Miles, this is Admiral Kepler. The fleet is regrouping. We're detecting a second Dravik armada approaching Vega Prime from orbit. Estimated arrival in 3 hours. Prepare for evacuation or defense. Aaron clenched his fists. 3 hours? They're not even giving us time to breathe. Lyra looked up at the hologram, her expression darkening. They will not stop. The commander we faced was only one of many. The Dravik Council wants what I carry. He turned to her. You mean the serum? No, she said softly. Me, the serum has bonded with my energy. If they capture me, They will use my life as the key. Aaron stood up, his face hard. Then we make sure they never touch you. Lyra looked at him, her eyes filled with both fear and gratitude. You would fight an entire armada for me? He shrugged. You saved my life. Guess I owe you a few explosions. That made her laugh, a small musical sound that broke the tension for a moment. You humans are strange, she said. You risk everything for people you barely know. That's how we work, Aaron said. We don't give up on people. Not even aliens with 4 arms. Her smile softened. Then let me fight beside you. Aaron blinked. You're barely standing. Lyra raised one of her hands, blue light glowing faintly in her palm. The serum inside me can do more than heal. It can shield, enhance, even empower others if used carefully. He frowned. Carefully? She nodded. If I share too much, I lose part of myself. Aaron looked out toward the horizon, where distant lights flickered in the upper sky. Then we use just enough to even the odds. They walked together through the ruins to a nearby hangar, where a small group of human soldiers and Andari guards were preparing for the next fight. The mixed team looked tired but determined. Captain Miles, a young pilot said, saluting. The defense grid is back online, but we need someone to direct ground support. Aaron nodded. I'll handle it. Get the anti-ship cannons ready. Lyra placed her hands on the control terminal. Blue lines spread from her fingers across the holographic screens. I can boost your power grid through energy transfer. It will increase your weapon range by 40%. Aaron stared. Can you really do that? She smiled faintly. Watch me. The lights in the hangar brightened as the system surged with power. The soldiers looked around in awe. What the hour systems just went green. One shouted. Aaron turned to her. You're incredible. She looked down, her expression thoughtful. No, just connected. As the fleet assembled in orbit, the sky began to darken again. Massive Dravek ships appeared in formation, hundreds of them, their engines glowing red like the eyes of demons. The first blasts hit the upper atmosphere. The ground trembled as shields activated around the city. Aaron looked at Lyra. Here we go again. She nodded. Stay close to me. I can redirect energy from the shields if needed. He smirked. Good. I plan to make them regret coming back. Outside, the sky turned into fire. The human and Andari ships rose from the ground like silver arrows, streaking into the air to meet the enemy. Plasma beams crossed the clouds. The sound of the battle shook the world. Aaron led his squad toward the defense tower, where the main control hub stood. As he moved, he could feel a faint warmth on his arm, Lyra's energy flowing into him. His strength returned, sharper and faster. He looked back at her. You did something to me. She nodded. A small bond. You'll move faster, react quicker. But don't push it too far. He grinned. You don't know me very well, do you? Lyra gave a small, tired smile. Oh, I'm starting to. The comms crackled with static. Captain Miles. The Dravik flagship is deploying ground units. They're heading for the medical district again. Aaron's face hardened. They're still after you. Lyra took a deep breath. Then this ends tonight. The two of them stood side by side as the sky burned above and the ground rumbled beneath their feet. For the first time since the war began, Aaron didn't feel like a broken soldier. He felt like something more. Something human, standing against the impossible. And Lyra, the alien healer with 4 arms, looked at him with quiet pride. Together, they faced the storm. The battle began again, louder, brighter, and fiercer than before. Above Vega Prime, the sky was no longer blue. It glowed with fire and light, a storm of plasma beams cutting across the clouds. Aaron stood at the top of the defense tower, the wind tearing at his jacket. Below him, The city stretched like a wounded giant, but it still fought. Human and Andari ships moved together in formation, firing upward at the Dravik armada that filled the heavens. Lyra stood beside him, her 4 arms glowing faintly blue. She looked weak, but her eyes burned with quiet strength. "Their flagship is here," she said, her voice calm despite the chaos. "It carries a weapon strong enough to destroy this city in one strike." Aaron tightened his grip on his pistol. "Then we take it down before it fires." She turned to him. "It won't be that easy. The weapon draws power from a life source, from me." He froze. "What?" "They created it using my stolen research," she said softly. "A copy of my energy pattern. If I can connect to it, I can shut it down. But only from inside." Aaron's eyes widened. "You mean board the flagship?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, but it means I must link directly to their core. My life energy will merge with the system. Once I start, I can't come back." Aaron took a step closer. "No, you've done enough. There's got to be another way." She looked up at the burning sky. "Maybe there is for you." Before he could argue, a sudden explosion shook the tower. A blast of heat slammed into them, throwing Aaron backward. He hit the ground hard, his ears ringing. When he looked up, he saw Lyra standing at the edge of the platform, glowing brighter than ever. She spoke softly, almost to herself. "This is not the end, Aaron. It's the balance." Then she leapt into the air. Blue energy burst from her body as she rose, surrounded by light. The wind roared around her as she shot upward like a comet, heading straight for the Dravik flagship high above the clouds. "Lyra!" Aaron shouted, but she was already gone. He turned to his radio. "All ships, cover the healer. She's heading to the flagship. Clear a path." Human and Andari pilots responded instantly. Squadrons of ships surged upward, firing at anything that came near her. Trails of light crossed the sky like fireworks. From below, she looked like a star ascending through fire. Inside the flagship, alarms blared as Lyra crashed through the hull in a surge of blue light. The corridors twisted with black metal and red lights, but she moved like a living flame. Every step left glowing marks on the floor. "System breach detected." A cold voice echoed. Lyra reached the central core, a dark sphere pulsing with red energy. It looked alive, beating like a heart. She placed all 4 hands on it. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "You took something pure and turned it into pain. I'm taking it back." Blue and red light collided. The entire ship trembled. Down on Vega Prime, Aaron watched the sky explode with color. The Dravik ships wavered, their weapons flickering. The enemy formations broke apart as if confused. Then he heard her voice in his come, faint, gentle, but still her. "Aaron." He looked up. "I hear you. What's happening?" "The core is shutting down. But the energy inside me is too much. It's spreading. I can't control it." His voice cracked. "Then let me help you. Tell me what to do." "You already did," she whispered. "You reminded me why we fight. Not to win, but to protect life." A long pause followed. Then her final words came through, soft as starlight. "Goodbye, my human friend." The flagship erupted in a silent burst of blue fire that lit the sky like a second sun. The explosion was vast but strangely beautiful, not destructive but cleansing. The Dravik ships around it fell one by one, their systems shutting down, drifting into space like empty shells. The light spread across Vega Prime, bathing the planet in warmth. The fires died. The air grew calm again. And then, silence. Aaron stood on the tower, staring at the empty sky. The clouds slowly returned to silver. He felt something wet on his face but didn't know if it was rain or tears. Lyra was gone. Weeks later, Vega Prime began to rebuild. The war wasn't over everywhere, but here, for now, peace had returned. The Andari honored Lira'Ven as a guardian, the healer who became light. Aaron stayed to help the rebuilding teams. Every night, he climbed the same tower and looked up at the stars, where one faint blue light still shimmered, brighter than the rest. Sometimes, when the wind was quiet, he could almost hear her voice again. "Pain speaks, Captain. Yours is loud." He smiled softly. "Yeah," he whispered. "But you made it a little quieter." A young Andari medic passed by and asked, "Do you believe she still watches us?" Aaron looked at the sky one more time. "I don't believe," he said. "I know." The wind blew gently through the silver towers. Above, the stars seemed to move just a little, as if something unseen was smiling back. And somewhere, in the vast quiet of space, a faint blue glow drifted between the stars, alive, eternal, and peaceful. Lyra had become what she always wanted to be, balance itself. The END**.